Okay, so I'm here with Chloe Padilla, aka Clopadilla, right? Because it's basically your whole name, or do people say Clopadilla?
Or they just say Chlo or Clomo. Chlo.
Oh, Chlo, I love it. I love it so much. So I first saw you with Femme A at Pattern Bar, and it was right before the holidays. And you crushed it. You like absolutely crushed it. It was the first time seeing you. I couldn't stop dancing. It was so fun. And you just had everybody like hanging on your drops, and it was really fun to watch you. And then I got to see you again at an event at the Virgil, which was the Gay Agenda, I believe. Yeah, with the deck, yes, and yeah. So I'm going to actually be interviewing them here soon too. But anyway, I'm just so happy to have you, and I just want to talk to you about music and production and DJing and like you and your background. And this podcast or blog or whatever the fuck we want to call it is focused around people in the music and the electronic music scene in LA and like LA adjacent, Orange County, Palm Springs. It's basically this area of Southern California. So, okay, how long have you been mixing? So let's talk about DJing first. How long have you been mixing?
Okay, well, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here and talk to you. It's been a while, 7 years. So I started in November 2016, with a little controller sent back with me on a plane, and I practiced in my dorm room. And then a few months later, I got my first gig, with the support of the people that taught me. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's all about community, which we're going to talk about a lot. But yeah, it's all about community. And if we didn't have the people helping us, we wouldn't be able to yeah, that's amazing. So if they sent you home with a mixer, and you were on the plane, were you playing with it already on the plane? Did they
I
already give you enough?
Yeah, because it's a little USB. Let me get you the
Oh,
correct term because it is say a tractor X1. So if you
okay.
ever look that up, it's literally this big.
Oh, tiny. What a cutie. What a little cutie. Okay, yeah, because I was
Mhm.
envisioning, and I can't remember the name of it, but what I first learned on, which is like a little tabletop, almost like the size, a little bit bigger than a laptop. But this is what you're talking about is like really small, like size of like almost like an iPad or even smaller.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this shape.
Okay.
Has just your like basically your basics, your filters, and your lows, your mids, your highs, and all that.
Amazing. That's really, I mean, that's amazing. Okay. And how long ago was that?
November 2016. So
Okay.
yeah, I was a freshman at the University of Arizona when I went there for a semester.
Wait, have we not talked about this? I went to University of Arizona. I graduated like from
You're a
University.
wildcat. You're
Yeah, bear down, babe. But yeah, that's me. Yes, but bear down, Arizona. That's amazing. We went there. Okay, so that was so you were at University of Arizona for a semester, and that's when you
Yes,
started mixing.
that's when I started mixing, and then I was there for a semester. I came back home, and when I was during Christmas break, I had a few gigs. One was at a house party for New Year's Eve. I was an opener, and I have
Yeah.
been an opener for probably like 6 years, right? This is like the first year that I've
Yeah.
haven't been opening at 9 p.m. or,
Yeah.
whatever.
Or
So
closing afters at 4.
yeah, now
Right.
now it's changed, but it took a while to get there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. Well, like you said, you started 6 years ago, and now you are not opening. You are closing. You're hitting awesome time spots. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So when you mix, are you do you practice ahead of time, or are you a on the fly mixer? Like what's your style? Do you use these hot cues? Because not everybody does. I was surprised to learn this.
Yeah, for I'm such a procrastinator. So basically, and I still do this, and I need to get better at it because if I did, I'd probably, I don't know actually, but
Yeah.
I I'll have a gig an hour or two before. I'll listen to 30 seconds of songs that I like that I've never heard before,
Yeah.
and then I'll download them really quickly, buy them, and then hear majority of it when I'm up there playing
I
on
love
stage.
it. I love it so much. I love it. I love all the different styles because that's like, I feel like I love that. Tell me more. That's what I like to do. I mean, I will rehearse some transitions and things, and I do sometimes want to hear, like if I'm trying to mix from the wheel that's not adjacent, and I've been doing a lot more of that, I do want to hear it ahead of time. But if it's like very close BPM and it's like in within key, like I feel like I don't need necessarily to hear it beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's just
that's
like the backbone of it, the key and
yeah,
the
yeah,
BPM. So if you have that, then you're pretty solid. But
yeah.
yeah, so there's sometimes when I'm up there and I do not know when a song's gonna drop, if there is a, a vocal that's just happening and how long that might be. I mean, I
Yeah.
can obviously read it, but then it's when you're up there and you have to decide, do I let this play out or do I mix in and play the next song that I've never fully heard? So yeah.
I love it though. So it's feeling, you're playing off a feel and it's so beautiful. It's like you channel that way because you just have to trust yourself. You can't be in your head really at all. Like you said, I mean, people who are listening to this, if you're not familiar, sometimes when you're up there, if it's fast, like you don't really have a lot of time to like make decisions. So you have to do it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so yeah. And so you told me offline that you produce as well.
Briefly, yeah, I do produce. I think there is a little bit of something in me that has there's a lot in me that wants to get out production wise, but I've been waiting to, finish my degree completely, and then now I'm thinking about grad school. So I,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then for me, environment is very important. So I don't necessarily feel like I have the space I desire in order to produce literally what I think I'm most capable of. So the things that I've done, they're with friends or they're really fast tracks that I put out because I was bored or procrastinating on something I should have been doing. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
mixes and production and things in the works. I think there's about 7 songs that are with different people right now that
Awesome.
I just haven't gone back to. So
But you always can later, that's the beauty of music, is that there's really no rush on it. You
yeah.
can put it out there whenever you want, you know. There are artists that go back in their archives all the time
Hmm.
and pull stuff out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so tell me about this degree. So what are you told me offline, but remind me, what are you pursuing right now? What are you doing?
I'm currently studying, well, funny story. With life and human experience, you fail often and you learn a lot. So I failed like 2 semesters. I should have been done a while ago,
All
and I've
right.
changed directions a lot. Not necessarily within my major of communication studies, but just hopping around and not
Yes.
trying to be complacent. So I'm currently finishing up. I'm just taking some electives right now, but I'm at LMU finishing my communication study degree with an emphasis in intercultural communications in critical theory. So yeah, it's really fun.
Already. Yeah. Smarty. Oh, I really like that you are telling me about this because I think it's really relatable. I think a lot of us put a lot of pressure on ourselves to like do things in a certain way and in a certain amount of time. And when we don't, I mean, even being like, I should have finished, like, why? No, no, you shouldn't have. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you exactly how you're supposed to. You're going to go on to grad school. It's like a whole beautiful thing. If you had finished 2 semesters ago, you might not have been inspired for grad school. So, there's a whole rhyme and reason to it, I think, you
Yeah,
know.
I definitely think so. And then with this grad school perspective, I'm thinking about studying ethnomusicology. So taking what
Oh,
I've learned,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more. What is that?
Yeah, so basically it's taking like critical theory and then music and combining the two and seeing where there are, cracks in the systems of music and in like ethnic studies as well, but
Yeah.
also like being in the field and like studying it with like ethnography. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great.
yeah.
That's a way to like give back, you know. Like I
Hmm.
think yeah, I think it's all about giving before receiving anyway. So we can learn and do that. It's like, oh, that's so beautiful. What inspired this? Like, what's the root of this?
Um, I didn't even know it was an option until a few weeks ago when my professor emailed me and said, "Hey, I don't think you're gonna like this," because I've talked to her and have had many like conversations about my struggle with the academia and higher education. And not that it's hard, it's just more like I'm bored. So, but this like caught my attention, and she brought up that there's a program that can combine, still thinking critically, but also doing what I like. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's
mhm.
amazing. Would you stay in LA? Is it at LMU?
um, it's at Cal State LA, I believe. So, a different, way different campus environment and demographic than LMU. So,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to.
Yeah, because LMU is West Side, right? It's over by
Like
the
Playa
airport.
Vista, yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
North Fork.
yeah. Where is Cal State LA?
I think it's on the east side.
Yeah, over by me. East
Yeah.
Side. That's right.
Mhm.
The East Side. I'm a big East Side fan. So what advice do you have for people just starting
Yeah.
out?
My advice for people that are just starting out is don't expect a miracle overnight. Don't, you're not in this for the right reason if you're trying to do that, because it's not going to work out. And if it does, like, where's the journey in that if you're an overnight sensation? So appreciate all the funny moments and the moments where you're DJing to the bartenders, or just that one dude, he's dancing, or just, just appreciate those moments. And I think that's a great way to practice during those times. And then an opener, you can't have an opener. You have to have an opener. You can't have a
Of
closer without one, and you can't have the middle. So it's like a book, like, the exposition, the climax. And so, yeah, it's definitely essential.
it's all a part of it. It's all a part of it. I love that you said that, and especially like the journey and how can you appreciate the journey if you're an overnight success? And it is so much about the journey. I think there are a lot of people who have made it and they look back at their time when they were first starting out, and there's probably a lot of nostalgia for it because you can never go back to that. Once you grow and grow, like you can never really go back to what you were when you first started. So, okay, so back to mixing and what type of stuff do you like to mix?
Um, what I started mixing and what I'm mixing now is very different. That's part of the journey as well. So at first I was playing, well, I had a lot of mixes and I always used them as like, I guess like a music tarot. Like, I don't know, like I would
Yeah,
feel a song and a lot of them were slower, maybe like 80 BPM, sometimes like 62 to 80. Um, more on the R&B side and like flips. If you
yeah,
think of like selection, but like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess so. So just a lot of that at the beginning, and now I've turned it into more of a house, and now I'm, you know,
Yeah,
pushing the pedal towards more techno. So
I love it. Yes, give me the techno. Uh, yeah. So what BPMs are you at now? You're like 130? Is that a techno?
still in that,
Yeah.
huggable 128, but then
Mhm, mhm,
but
mhm.
then pushing, I have a lot of like 155s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am a little nervous to play them, but I think
A
that's
little
where
bit.
music is going.
Oh, 100%. There's more drum and bass. You're hearing more drum and bass. You're also hearing more bass. Like just people are feeling it. They want intense things because I think music matches the way that humans are feeling. And when house music was popular, we were all coming out of COVID and it was very like happy. Everybody wanted to be with each other. We were just so happy to be out. We were so happy to be free. We were so happy to be dancing again. And now like the truth is starting to sink in terms of like, things are expensive. They're not getting any cheaper. People are becoming more broke. There's just like, I feel like there's the energy in the world is getting, I mean, look at what happened in the fall, and everything back, in Israel, like all of this heaviness, I think is bringing out a need for heavy music because people need to get shit out. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, but I also think that's why techno is coming in hot right now, because the sounds they just make you feel deeper emotions than, in my opinion, a lot of house music. So I think that's why we're starting to see the change. So yeah, but okay, so you were playing stuff slower back then, but now you play faster stuff. Is it and more techno? Back then it was more house. Who influences you now? Are there any artists who play like a lot of their stuff?
I don't know. I think there's that's a hard question. I think the people around me that I'm like, I don't want to name like Fred again or Skrillex or whatever. Cascade is the one that got, inspired me and late night alumni to kind of do this. Back in 2011, when I first was like, oh, I like this sound. But a lot of the people around me, just like my friends who also DJ, are the ones that are inspiring me to keep going or, produce or change up my style a little bit. So definitely the community around me.
Yeah, tell me more about your community. Because I think that's so important here. I feel like the music community is pretty small actually in LA, and it's such a big city, but really I feel like it's pretty small. So tell me more about your community. How do you celebrate each other? How do y'all get together?
Yeah, my community is ever growing. It's evergreen, and um, I'm a Aquarius 10th house, like my son. So I'm a networker, and that's just kind of my purpose here. And it's channeling it through music and that community. So which is exciting because it's fun. But
I love that.
yeah, we just kind of come together, supporting each other, playing the music, and then even having like these little alternative media outlets or like Instagrams, like mine's Sanctuary with Chlo, and it's now become almost like a production company because for my day job I produce queer and Latin events. So
It's amazing. Yeah.
so it's just kind of like a little offset of that, of what I'm learning at my job and then what I'm seeing and taking apart like the functionality that I've witnessed when I was in the disco temple. So I was a resident at the disco temple for a while and was like kind of.
Tell me more. Where's the disco temple?
The disco temple is located out of San Pedro and mostly Long Beach. We've been on a year hiatus, but yeah, we did some really cool stuff and just trying to bring those DJs who are also musicians. So a lot of our headliners, like Evan Hatfield or Offier, we try to incorporate that. So last year on my 25th birthday, which I got to open up for Offier, which was really cool.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, that's so cool to open up for somebody that you look up to. I think that's like for all of us too. Okay, amazing. And so you are running, you said Latin queer lesbian events in and around the LA area. You're promoting these events. Tell me more about that.
So I produce them with a small team out of Long Beach. And I mean, they're pretty big. We've got like Tamale Festival that was like 5,000 people. I was in charge of.
I didn't even know this. I was like, this is like, you're springing this on me, babe. I had no idea. Okay. So Tamale Festival was 5,000 people, you were saying.
Yeah, about 5,000 people. And my job is now changing from being like the retail coordinator. So I had about 82 small businesses and nonprofits that I oversaw for quite a few months leading up to the event day. And now it's changing into me dealing with like food trucks and the food portion, which is a little bit more intense because you're dealing with like food and the health department and stuff and like TFF forms. So um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like really fun events. Both of my bosses are gay men, and there's like five, six, seven of us in the company. It's very small, um, but we do one called LB Proud. So
Okay.
it's like Long Beach Pride, but Long
Yeah.
Beach Pride, no offense to them, they have to make their money too, but we wanted to make it all include, like
Yeah.
not exclusive where you have to pay money, like
Yeah.
for tickets and stuff. So it's a free 3-day event. We're really excited because it's coming back again
Yeah.
this year.
That's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations on that. I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. And then we do little ones too, like we did a Party Monster themed,
Okay.
yeah, from the movie. So
Oh,
that was really fun.
that's so fun. It's interesting too. Like there's, like you were saying, food trucks and the health core or the health department and like forms and things. And these are things that like party producers do have to think about. You just like, it's so unglamorous. You think that everything is just like this beautiful, like putting on a party, but no, this is like an actual, like, it's a production. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of detail. It's just nice to hear, I think, for people too, to understand that there's a lot of work that goes into the parties that we attend.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole lot of work that goes into it. So you're doing LA Proud again, and then you had Tamale Festival. That's amazing. How long have you been with this company now?
I think next week it'll be a year.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That's amazing. Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. So, well, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Is there anything else you want to leave anybody listening? I mean, I feel like you've already given me such great advice in terms of, how to like approach mixing from a booking perspective. But is there any advice you could give me in terms of, I don't know, picking music, like you said, stuff that you really like, and that's kind of what I've been doing. And I try to stay in genre. Do you have any tips for that? Do you listen to new releases weekly? Like what do you do for new music?
I kind of it's like research in a way. So I in Spotify or in whatever you know, listening outlet, I think of a bunch of words, like keywords, and then I put them in the search bar, and then I will just press shuffle with the playlist that pops up for that. So today I put Alien House because I was feeling like alienish.
Yeah,
I was home with like I don't know if you saw that, but
I
um
haven't yet.
yeah, so I just put like, oh, Alien and then house music, and then a cool playlist popped up, and then I kind of just pressed shuffle. And for me, I I have pretty good taste, so I know what I like within like 30 seconds of
Yeah, me
pretty
too.
much anything. So
Yeah,
um
yeah,
especially
exactly.
music. So
Especially music.
well,
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and for coming on this, like, in this journey with me. I'm so lucky to be talking to you, selfishly for me too, because I get to like pick your brain and like learn more about how you do what you do as I grow in the field too. So yeah, so thanks again. And I mean, I'm gonna see you later because we're gonna go dancing, but we'll say goodbye
we
right now.
are.
Yeah, exactly.